Good morning, or it's morning for me when I'm recording this video. My name is Nicole Rivera, and this is the Rivera Family Homeschooling Blog. My husband Manny and I have 3 boys, Phoenix, Griffin, and Falcon. The oldest is in 1st grade and very excited about going to 2nd grade. Yes, and this is the little one, Falcon. Say, I'm 15 months. And I have boogies coming down my nose because the whole family has a little cold. Well, not like a little cold. It was a pretty rough cold. But we're at the end of it. But one of the lovely moms who follow our vlog asked for us to do a day in life. I'm not great with like remembering to wake up and pick up the phone to record things, especially when we've been battling a cold and I'm trying to take care of everybody needs. Boogies sucked, and we do homeopathic remedies, and everybody needs vitamin C and vitamin D, and like then I have to remember to record myself getting ready in the morning. This morning my hair was like this. I just moved it back. I'm tired, obviously. It's been a rough week with a cold going through the house, but I figured, and today has not gone ideal. The first hour, we've had a bloody lip. Falcon, stay down. Falcon, he's trying to climb. We had a bloody lip from the climber over here. We had somebody get hit in the eye with a knight's, like the drawbridge thing. We had somebody, I tried to go back to bed after the kids woke up an hour early, and then I got a call, Mama! And one of them was on the toilet and their butt wiped, and he was like, oh, where were you? And I'm like, trying to go back to bed. Clearly that's not going to happen. So, and then, yeah, emotions over my eye and my lip, and I didn't even get to, usually I like to wake up an hour before them so I can sit down I like to have a hot cup of hot chocolate in the morning and just sit down and do my Bible time and quiet. That did not happen. So I'm like, this is the best time to film when it's not an ideal day, because most 95% of homeschooling days are not ideal. Every once in a while, like God throws me a perfect day and it's like, oh, if only every day was like this, then I would become super prideful. Is that Puppy Chaser? Then I would become super prideful and think I knew it all and think I was so wonderful, and I'm not. So I'm going to kind of show you a bit of what a very messy, imperfect homeschool day with 3 sick kids and me a little sick. Thank the Lord. My sore throat went away. So I can actually read today, because most of our schooling is done as read alouds, and so that requires mommy to be able to read. And yeah, so let me show you where I'm going to get set up for Bible time, and I'll kind of show you what our morning basket, it's not, well, I guess I do have a basket, but what our morning time routine looks like. We do our 5 essentials in the morning, which is by reading Bible, doing our Bible. This is our curriculum. It's from the Biggest Storybook Bible. We bought the whole curriculum. We've been loving it. And then we do Bible memory with our Truth and Grace books. We do scripture memory, hymn memory, Bible basics, catechism. And I incorporate from Scribblers at Home, which I have a video about. We are learning John 1 through 14 in English and Latin, which they've been doing with classical conversations, but I also added Spanish just so that I didn't have to do a separate Spanish curriculum right now, even though I have a great one, Cherrydale Press. But I tried to incorporate as many things into one as possible, which if you've seen my video on how to have a biblical homeschool, Ruth B. Chick talks a lot about that. Incorporate as many subjects into one as possible. Don't like try and separate everything out. That's too much work. So we try to just incorporate reading, writing, arithmetic into as like one huge chunk as much as possible. I even found like these math read aloud books, which has been awesome too. So I'm like, we're reading, we're listening, we're doing comprehension, and we're doing learning by math. It's awesome. Okay. On to Bible time. Okay, so this is what my morning basket looks like. It's usually right here on top of our chest. And so in it, I have these things, which are spot markers that I I use these in our classical conversations classroom. We have the ABCdarians, and each kid has a spot and they sit on it, and that they do better without tables, I think. And we're more active that way, and that helps, I think, helps keep their focus. I've tried the tables and it was disastrous. So what I do is I put out each kid, even if they can't read, knows their color. Falcon, I have another green one in my classroom, and when he comes in my classroom for classical conversations, he goes and sits on another little boy's green marker because he thinks it's his, because obviously he's only a year old, he can't read his name. So I put all their markers out. Sometimes I'll have them go and grab their art packs if we're doing art. I try to give them some kind of activity to do in the morning while we're doing Bible time to keep their focus. We eat, and then they need something to do. Today, we are working on the Tower of Babel. So one of the activities is going to have them get like a certain number of blocks. They're going to each have 10 of the magnet tiles, and they're going to have to build a tower as high as they can with 10. So sometimes, or all the time, guaranteed daily, we get different distractions. Getting started with morning time, and it's all about choosing which distractions to entertain for a moment and then return, because sometimes those distractions are a nice little brain break, and then he really wanted to pin this up, or I thought he wanted to pin it up, and then he's like, no, I wanted to pin it down and get inside. So then we did that, and he got inside, and eventually I turned the camera back around and got back to recording. But he needed extra assistance that I need to put the camera down, so that's what I did. And I got this done really quick, and then we got back to morning basket. Before I change that poop diaper in a minute, while the blender's running. So let me show you what's in the basket other than the dot markers. I have our Truth and Grace memory book. We're all in book 1. It's ages 2 to 9. I've divided up our memory work into this card box, like what we're doing in here. So I know what to do each day. It says, okay, review. Each day I have it divided. Here, I'll show you really quick. These are from our biggest storybook Bible curriculum. And so I have all these cards for it. These are things that we're going to learn. We haven't done it yet. But this is our daily. What we do each day, we're learning Hark the Herald Angels Sing. We're learning catechism for boys and girls, number 41 through 50. And we're doing John 1 through, this says 1,14, but it's through 14. So that's what we practice every day. And then today is Wednesday, so I'll go to Wednesday. And this has the hymn we're reviewing and the verses we're reviewing that we already learned. So how I divide it is we've already gotten through, there's progress reports in the back by age. And there's age 2 and 3 is one progress report, and then age 4. So I just divided it by days, which ones we review each day. And then I take off certain days because we have co-ops on Tuesdays and Fridays. So those I kind of change up a little bit because it's just too hard to squeeze everything in. I try to do things that are easy to do in the car together on those days. Like on Tuesdays, we review our gospel in 5. It used to be the gospel in 4, but we add a 5th verse, so we do those. And then on Fridays, we review the Psalms that we've been memorizing, and we memorized Luke 2, 8 through 16 over Christmas. So I have those songs on my phone so I can play with them in the car on the way to co-op. So that's how I did that. We have the biggest storybook Bible, which we use for our curriculum, which is right here. And here I put any pages that I've printed. You can actually get, without having the curriculum, the print off pages from their website. You just have to create an account, which is free, and you get the coloring pages and all the activity pages there, so you could do that. This just leads discussion and gives you extra activity ideas like this. And I'm a tired mom, so any less thinking I have to do is wonderful for me. And the whole curriculum, which is a 2-year curriculum, is like $89. It's not super expensive. And then I have other read aloud stuff. Like we could do an Aesop fable really quick for the littles, and all of them like this. And then I have this, the big book of science stories. And then I usually have, but I packed it in my bog bag, which I take with me everywhere. I have Imagination Station that we're reading, and Justin Morgan Had a Horse. In the back, I have the 2 of their daily menus. I don't know where the other ones is. And it has their John 1 through 4 in English, Latin, Spanish. It has their hundreds chart if we want to use it for math. or Number Knockout, which is a game from Scribblers at Home. It has their, this is Griffin's, it has their daily to-do list that they can use I find that just using washable Crayola markers is better than using dry erase. They come off easier, and then they can do that. And then they actually color the inside paper. As they learn their phonograms, they can check them. I can check them off, or they can color them, whatever they want to do. Actually, I have to check some of these off. I told them we do a penny system. Once they get to 100 pennies, once they learn them all, they can get 100 pennies. And so, yeah, that's kind of like what their thing looks like. Oh, in the back is all the things we're learning. And I've highlighted the ones we've already learned as far as our memory stuff. So that's those. And then in the very back, I have the rainbow pads. If I want them to just draw a picture of, like as a narration, draw a picture of what we're reading about. I can just, if I need something quick and simple, or I just grab these if we're like going out to a doctor's appointment or to church, and I need to have something to hand them so they could be quiet during service or occupy themselves while something is going on that they can't be running around. So it's good to have tools, you know. Another mom, a more experienced mom friend than I, gave that, she's like, always have snacks and always have stuff that they can do, drawing or little seated games and stuff wherever you go, especially in service, and it helps keep them quiet. And she was totally right, it does. Oh, I also have these are watercolor pencils. You just get a little cup of water, they dip it in, and they could paint one of their art pages sometimes that I get. They have really cool coloring pages with this. They're not in here right now because I already did them. But they do have very elaborate coloring pages that look just like the pictures that are in here. And the watercolor pencils, these are my favorite to use because I'll sit down and color with them. And they're a lot of fun. I think they were like $7. But that is morning basket. Now I'll show you what it looks like in action. Oh, I forgot. I usually sometimes I have it in here, but I carry this around everywhere. It's our to-go Bible, which is smaller than my study Bible, which is here. And I have it tabbed. I think I'm going to switch my system there with the wise words for moms from Ginger Hubbard. That's an excellent resource that if I remember, I'll show you later. And this is our family Bible, and I just have it tabbed. So if we have a discipline issue, I just go to where the tab is, and we can talk about it after we've had our punishment and talk about what attributes to put off and what attributes to put on, which is Ginger Hubbard's system. I also have gospel sharing verses in here, including our gospel in 5. And in the back, when we're on the go, since we do our pledges to the Bible and to the Christian flag and American flag, we have those taped in here. I can just hold them up and we do our pledges. Pull up the Bible, then the flags, and we're good to go. So this is my to-go Bible, and I usually have it either here or in the cart right next to it for Bible time. And we got our first 2 to morning basket time, waiting for the big one to come. Having our oatmeal, sitting on our dots. We're all color assigned. There's another mom. Oh my goodness. I can't even think of her name, and I watch her all the time. Oh, I'm having one of those mom brain farts. But I will link her below. She's on baby number 11, and she has a homestead, and she has all her kids color coordinated. We have all of our kids color coordinated. Oldest is red, second born blue, third born green. That way they just know what their stuff is. Right? Yummy? Mm-hmm. Who knows it? I pledge allegiance to the God's holy word. I will make it my feet and a light unto my path. And I will hide its words in my heart, that I might not sin against God. I pledge allegiance to the Christian flag, and to the Savior for whose kingdom it stands. One Savior, crucified, risen, and coming again, with life and liberty to all who believe. I pledge. So they usually know their pledges, but if they're having an off day, I just say them, and they kind of listen and absorb. I'm going to turn to the page here. Oh, we're on lesson 5. Okay. Our big truth is people wanted to be great, but only who is great? God is great. Okay. So, in the story of the tower, what did God command the people to do after they got off the boat? After Noah and his sons got off, what did he say to do? Stay here and build a big city for yourself, or spread out and fill the earth?
Spread out till the earth.
Did they obey God or did they disobey God?
Obey.
They obeyed God or disobeyed?
Obey.
Did they spread out or did they stay in one place and build a big tower? And build a big tower, so they disobeyed God, right? Yes. Is there anything wrong with building a tower? Is that a sin, or is it a sin to disobey God? And do you know why? And why did they want to build a big tower? To make God's name great or their name great? Their name great. They wanted to be like who?
Him.
Like God. And that's a sin, right? They were prideful. And pride comes before the fall.
But did Noah not build it?
Noah wasn't there. He had died already. He had gone to be with God already. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you each 10 magnetiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you're going to see who can build the tallest tower with their 10 magnetiles. All right, let's see everybody's towers up. They got to be sturdy, right?
Yeah, but mine is not finished.
Oh, Falcon and I, this is our tower.
This is mine.
Until he knocks it down. And there it goes.
Was this one tall?
But it has to hold itself up. You can't be holding it up the whole time. No. Try again. Let's get towers that stand. Okay, so clearly tower building, not such a great thing. The toddler kept knocking them over, but it led to some frustration. But they kind of got the idea, and we went through our memory verses. And it was hard to do our memory verses because they were distracted by their tower building, but we persevered and took lots of deep breaths and just kept going. And sometimes if they were distracted, I know they know most of these and they just review, and they learn a lot just by listening. So I'll just repeat the verse out loud, and I already know that they know it. So Griffin's over there reciting the Lord's Prayer. But I know Phoenix already knows it. So he's just listening and reviewing in his head. It's also how we do our CC memory work, is I just play it in the background while they're playing. And they seem to absorb it even when I don't like quiz them on it or anything like that. They're just absorbing things as they play. And so we went through that, and it was very frustrating for Griffin because his tower kept falling down. And so he got a bad mood and went off to his tent, his Thomas the Train tent, and did not want to participate any further. So that was fun. And so I just kept going and persevering through our tough day. The day I'm recording this and editing, we actually had a good day and everybody was participating. So you never know what you're going to get, and you kind of have to roll with the punches and know that they're still learning, even when it doesn't seem like it, when it seems like only mommy is the one participating and learning. Everybody's absorbing. Just have to be very thankful for those good days and take deep breaths and lots of prayers through the not so good days. And I'm just thankful that Falcon, the baby's over here, is occupying himself by eating one of his brother's oatmeal that's not his. So, and the brother has not noticed yet. So, and I don't think at that time I had noticed either. Okay, so we have moved on to him singing, and the frustration level is growing. Griffin's still in his bad mood and in his tent, but I'm trying to pull him in as gently as possible. Phoenix is getting a little restless, but thankfully the toddler's still sitting for the moment. Oh, no, there he goes. And he's about ready to wreak some havoc in our morning. And you'll see that in just a moment. But hard days are hard, you just have to pray through them and take deep breaths and be very thankful for the easy days and thankful that you're growing during the hard days. So I'm trying to ask them some catechism questions, and then up Falcon goes on the chest, and he knows he's not supposed to do that, and we're going through our defiant toddler stage. So I'm trying to encourage his obedience, which is not going to work. And then my husband's going to try to come in and encourage his obedience, which is also not going to work. And he is going to need to get a little punishment for that. He is learning obedience, which is always a difficult thing for all of us. especially for him. I feel like more so than the other two boys. So Falcon had to be disciplined, which is just, it's a really saying no very strongly, which makes him very upset. And then a little tap tap on his hip. It's nothing like, he's only one. It's not like too harsh. One thing we have like a timeout system where your first offense is a timeout, second offense is timeout, no dessert, third offense is timeout, and a little spanking. I know some people don't agree with that, but that works for our children. They get the grace in the beginning with the timeouts. They also lose pennies each time, 3 pennies. And they know they generally don't get the spankings because they get the warning and they get back on track. So we're reviewing catechism right now. I usually do 10 review questions a day of what we've already learned, and I rotate through which 10, and then we do 3 new. We learn better in chunks, so I try to teach them catechism in like 3-question chunks, and it helps it stick better. It was the one that, so this is Matt, Legos is this bin. We've redone we have a toy bin system, so there's 9 here, 3 in our closet, and then one at my in-laws and one at my parents' house. So we have the toys organized. Yes. And then, so this is kind of, usually the brain flakes are not out. Those are in my basket of puzzle toys that I keep in our school area. But usually this is a very basic room with not a whole lot out. So that we're usually only bringing 1 bin at a time, but right now we're needing Lego people for our Magnetile buildings. So we're just gonna get some of those out, close this up, and we'll put them right back. But it helps manage the chaos. And this is our weaponry bin because they love to be knights. It also has our shepherd stuff. We like to pretend to be shepherds, Nerf guns, laser guns, weaponry. Or play acting stuff, I should say. But it's mostly just being knights or shepherds. And then this is our kitchen. I put only some of the food that we have because if not, it gets too crazy, especially with the little one who likes to just throw things everywhere. So that's kind of our system. And we removed all their clothes and put them in bins. I have a video on that. So they could put all their clothes away themselves. And all our clothes are in one closet. So it just helps manage the chaos of it. Do I have everybody's attention? Okay, so we're gonna go through our cards. Ready? Okay, so these are the memory verse cards that come with don't come with, they're like sold separately, but they're like $5 for the Storybook Bible curriculum. And so I just review them. I'm working up till we get through 6 cards, and then it kind of helps us review the whole storyline. And then once we get 6 cards in, I'll start dropping the first card off and just review the previous 5 plus the current week and just keep that in a rotation. And then maybe once we get enough cards, we can play on Saturdays, putting the story back in order so it helps them to retain the order of the Bible stories. And so we just go through those really quick, and they've actually been memorizing them just by us repeating them daily a little bit. Even though that's not my goal for them to memorize these, we have other memory verses we're doing between our Truth and Grace books and our Adventure Club verses and Classical Conversations. I wasn't about to add more memory verses to them right now, but they are kind of memorizing them. I'm not putting them in our system or anything like that. So this week we were going over the Tower of Babel. So I was just reading that to them, and then we are doing our John 1 through 14 in English, and we were going through verse 12 the week that this is being recorded, and then Latin we are through week 3, and Spanish through verse 3 on those 2, and we'll just keep going with those and repeating the English one until it's all cemented in, and then we will probably be ready for next year's classical conversation, which is Exodus 19, 1 through 17, and I might do the same thing, incorporating the Latin and Spanish if this seems to work out well. Although we have a really awesome Spanish program with Cherrydale Press that I also very, very, very much enjoy. My husband speaks Spanish. I had him choose the version of the Bible, and this is the version he chose, the 1909. I can't even pronounce what that is called, Reina Valera, I think. But you can look it up if you're looking for a Spanish version. That's the one that he prefers over the other versions. And that's the one we are doing together. And he is there to correct my pronunciation in the background whenever I need him because he's working from the dining room table. It's nice to have him working from home now so that I have some extra help if I need it. Although I try not to bug him too much. So the boys are still building and we're still reviewing. Probably not the best to have them building and reviewing, but they learned it, so they know it. The day I'm recording the voiceover, they really very much cemented it just by listening to me say it. So that's good. And this one's building. We're talking about building strong foundations and how he's telling me how important it is to build strong foundations because we have discussed this before, both biblically and spiritually, and also with our actual creations so they don't fall down. At this point, because our morning was so disjointed and didn't flow, usually our morning basket takes 20, maybe 30 minutes if it's flowing and it's not continuously interrupted. But it has been interrupted and it's taking forever. And I forgot totally to read the Bible selection from the Storybook Bible. So on day 1, which is Monday, I usually read it straight from the Bible. Day 2, I read it, which is usually Wednesday because we have our community day on Tuesdays. I read it from the Storybook Bible. And day 3, they have videos on YouTube of all of these. And we watch the video on day 3, which is Thursday. And day 5, we usually do the discussion questions. I attempted to do an Aesop fable, but that was it. They were done. They were done. I was done. So I ended up just flopping the book over and being done with it after that. You can see, I think only the toddler was like, okay, let's do this. Everybody else was just like, oh, we did read about the mischievous dog in this. And we talked about how he thinks it's so cool to be mischievous. He's running around, pridefully wearing the sign of his disobedience. And then the other dog's like, what are you doing? Stop doing that. Go hide yourself if you're going to be disobedient. Don't, flaunt that for everybody to see. Okay, so this is kind of our laundry system. We get the laundry out, everybody's got a pile. And then there's the community towel pile that we'll all work on together. And so we take our piles, and I'll show you how we do our laundry bin system. Griffin's got his. Phoenix is getting his. And we are I'm gonna help Griffey a little bit with his. Phoenix has pretty much mastered his laundry. So yes, Phoenix is acting goofy because that's what he does when the camera's on. And we had to you'll see that during his school lessons. He will have to be reprimanded for that. So that made the day even harder having the camera on. But so usually I start off with Falcon, who's the baby. I didn't record that, but I help him put his clothes away. And then I move up the line to Griffin, who needs a little bit more help, needs a little bit less help than Falcon, but more than Phoenix. And then when I'm done with Griffin, then I will help Phoenix with whatever he has left over. Usually Phoenix can do most of his, but I still help him because he's 6 and I don't want to just leave him there with all that big pile of laundry by himself. So I just appreciate having people in there doing it with me, and I don't have to do it all by myself, and they're learning and we're doing it together. And then once they're big enough, they'll just kind of take over the laundry putting away system. And Falcon likes to come in, grab people's laundry and throw it in whatever bin he feels like throwing it in, which always adds extra spice and excitement to the situation. So that is how we do our laundry. So basically the kiddos put all their laundry used to take me almost 45 minutes, an hour each day. And that's only if I had one day of laundry. And if I didn't let it back up, it could take me up like 2 hours to do laundry. So it's super helpful. Now it takes me like 15, 20 minutes to get the kids put their laundry away. And then I work on my laundry and my husband's laundry. And then the kids know how to fold cloths. So I have them help me with that. Hang up the towels, 15, 20 minutes, done. I can get a few things done, go cook something. I just started sourdough baking, so I could do that while they play. And then depending on what we have going on determines how much playtime I give them. So yeah, like Monday, we had a doctor's appointment at 1. So I'm like, okay, we want to get everything done that we need to get done before the doctor's appointment. So when we come home, we just play and I can bake. So, because I've been doing a lot of that lately with the sourdough. So that's what we did. We had everything done before noon. And then we went to the doctor, came home. The rest of the day, they could do what they wanted. I had a plan for CC the next day, for classical conversations next day, and that was it. So it's not like my whole life is dedicated to laundry anymore. The bin system has been really helping. So I'm gonna go do the rest of the laundry, and then I'll show you what, we don't call it school anymore. We just call it our 3 R's, what our 3 R's looks like. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for part 2.